Part 1. It was a damp, starlit night when the city's heartbeat slowed, and the only sound was the gentle patter of rain on dark pavement. At the back alley of Lantern's Edge, a cozy American-Chinese restaurant bedecked with glowing red lanterns and flickering neon signs. The scene that unfolded would haunt the city's whispers for months. Two waiters, clad in crisp black uniforms and pristine white aprons, lay motionless on the slick concrete. Their still forms, illuminated by the shifting hues of red and blue police lights, cast eerie reflections on the puddles scattered along the narrow street. As investigators arrived in a flurry of protective gear and determined eyes, every detail of that grim night seemed to conspire with destiny. Forensic specialists, their faces somber behind masks and gloves, meticulously captured photographs of chilling white inscriptions that shimmered under UV illumination. These mysterious markings, etched in what resembled chalk and glowing starkly against the wet asphalt, sent shivers down even the steeliest spines. Whispers among the gathered detectives recounted how the unusual hieroglyphs lingered on the scene like an unfinished sentence in a sinister letter. Amid the chaos, murmurs began to form. An unseen hand had orchestrated this macabre display, leaving behind coded clues that beckoned a deeper, darker narrative. In the flickering shadows, the investigation quickly zeroed in on an unmistakable point of interest. Richard Ivy Evans, the formidable owner of Lantern's Edge, known to some by his provocative nickname Ivy due to his imperious nature, had long labored under suspicion following a bitter conflict with one of the departed staff. Rumors swirled that heated confrontations between Evans and his employees had sparked more than just office gossip. Adding to the mounting intrigue was the unexpected presence of Carter Davis, the restaurant's head cook, whose gruesome fate had left many wondering whether a random act of violence or an orchestrated vendetta had taken hold of that ill-fated night. Even as the forensic team gathered evidence, the city's underbelly whispered secrets of a deceptive trail, a false lead meant to mask the true hand behind this twisted series of events. An unassuming detail rapidly morphed into a chilling clue. Traces of blood from one of the waiters were discovered on the jacket of a suspect with a notorious reputation. This dark discovery, couched in the grim aesthetics of a rain-slicked crime scene, shrouded the investigation in an ominous fog of doubt. As detectives began piecing together a timeline of events, a peculiar visitor emerged in the recollections of the frightened staff, a young man with an enigmatic aura who had stormed into Lantern's Edge only minutes before the tragedy. His insistence on a private meeting with Evans, coupled with a fierce accusation regarding the restaurant's controversial menu, rumors had long suggested that the establishment dabbled in the unthinkable by offering canine dishes alongside more traditional fare, had ignited tensions that would soon spiral out of control. The stage was set, the players in motion, and as the city's rain continued to erase footprints in the alleys, everyone awaited the next unexpected twist in this labyrinthine puzzle. Part 2. In the wake of those unsettling revelations, the investigation gathered momentum like a freight train on an unyielding track. Detectives scoured every shadowed corner of Lantern's Edge, unearthing fragments of a puzzle that defied conventional explanation. As they pored over video recordings and pensive witness statements, the narrative grew more convoluted, a tangled web of ulterior motives and emotional vendettas. One interview with a jittery busboy recalled a heated altercation between the enigmatic young visitor and one of the waiters mere moments before the tragedy unfolded. According to his trembling account, the visitor's eyes burned with an indecipherable intensity as he hurled damning accusations at the staff over the restaurant's controversial signature dishes. The insinuation that Lantern's Edge had engaged in practices that defied both tradition and taste had apparently pushed tempers over the brink. Meanwhile, another employee, a quiet soul who lingered in the periphery of the chaos, mentioned catching a glimpse of a discarded accessory, a personalized leather cuff, near the back door. This small yet significant token, later traced back to a local troublemaker known as Mason Reed, ignited a fresh line of inquiry and deepened the mystery like layers of sediment accumulating beneath a murky riverbed. Forensic specialists continued their painstaking work, their high-precision imaging and microscopic examinations revealing traces of evidence that hinted at an orchestrated plot. The enigmatic chalk markings on the pavement, Cryptic symbols that seemingly pointed to a notorious moniker once whispered in the city's darker circles had begun to align with the suspects' histories. As Mason Reed's name surfaced in police databases, seasoned investigators noted an uncanny correlation between the peculiar phrase scrawled on the asphalt and the nickname Ivory, previously attributed to a local underworld figure. This revelation introduced an entirely new suspect profile, overshadowing even the heated rivalry once believed to involve Richard Ivy Evans. The detectives now found themselves entangled in a maze of intersecting motives. Was the crime a misguided act of revenge, a calculated power play among rival factions, or an elaborate diversion designed to conceal an even graver scheme? Amid these intensifying dynamics, forensic experts uncovered another curious detail: a faint residue on the handle of a cane recovered at the scene. Further analysis revealed that the residue comprised minute skin particles that intriguingly matched those found on the jacket of the primary suspect. Such an overlap suggested that somewhere in the labyrinth of emotions, violence, and deception, the threads of fate had interwoven victim and perpetrator. Each emerging clue added urgency to the investigation, heightening not only the stakes for the detectives, but also the palpable tension that now gripped the community. As the night's chill slowly receded into the early hints of dawn, it became apparent that every lead, every whispered doubt, was drawing the case closer to a truth that was as elusive as it was damning. With alliances shifting and identities obscured by the fog of suspicion, the question remained: who truly orchestrated this symphony of chaos, and what dark legacy would Lantern's Edge come to represent in the annals of the city's criminal lore? Part 3. As dawn broke over the rain-drenched city, the investigation at Lantern's Edge entered a nerve-wracking phase. Under the soft gleam of early morning light, detectives retraced every step taken on that fateful night, each clue intensifying the pulse-pounding urgency of a case that had quickly escalated beyond a simple act of vengeance. Every whispered testimony and every carefully collected piece of evidence painted a picture that was as murky as the soaked pavement the mysterious chalk markings had adorned just hours before. In the ensuing days, surveillance footage was re-examined with renewed rigor, leading investigators to unearth startling fragments of the truth. A desperate struggle, hurried exchanges, and an unmistakable air of foreboding. The undeniable link between the accused troublemaker, Mason Reed, and the enigmatic symbols scrawled on the asphalt merged with unsettling forensic traces, further deepening the air of conspiracy. It was as if these pieces had been deliberately arranged to rewrite the narrative of guilt, drawing a shadowy finger at an individual known by the moniker Ivory. Yet even as police records began to hint at his potential involvement, inconsistencies in witness statements left room for a broader puzzle, a dangerous orchestration intended to deflect suspicion from an even more formidable mastermind. Public outcry and media frenzy grew as curiosity turned to concern, and the local community demanded answers shrouded in the mystery of Lantern's Edge. Rumors abounded about a clandestine network operating in the background, an underground league with stakes far higher than the restaurant's controversial menu. Amid this turmoil, a fractious bond between the suspect and one of the waiters, remembered only as a flash of confrontation before tragedy, emerged as a critical element, suggesting personal vendettas that intertwined with deeper, more expansive conspiracies. Meanwhile, the forensic team's painstaking reconstruction of the crime scene revealed painstaking details: a misplaced cufflink, an inexplicable smear of residue on an antique surface, and, most chilling of all, the persistent presence of that ghostly cryptic script that hinted at a past steeped in betrayal and hidden identities. Every new revelation led detectives further down a labyrinth of secrets, where allies might be enemies and motives were as murky as the night itself. In the silence of long nights spent deciphering cryptic clues and cross-referencing personal histories, the investigators began to glimpse a terrifying possibility: that the murder at Lantern's Edge was only the opening act in a twisted performance designed to unsettle an entire community and rewrite the rules of trust and retribution. And as the layers of deception gave way to a slowly emerging truth, one burning question remained suspended in the air, a question that resonated with anyone who has ever been drawn into the dark allure of mystery. Which shadowy figure is truly pulling the strings behind this cascade of chaos? And how far are they willing to go to protect their secret? What do you think lies beneath this veneer of suburban normalcy? Subscribe and join us as we unravel the next chapter of this haunting tale.